Hi everyone, Pastor Corinne here from the Gathering Place Church with your encouraging word. This morning I was thinking about worship, and I wanted to talk about worship that drives out the enemy. All of us have had encounters with the enemy. Every Christian can say that they know that God is real, that angels are real, and that there is an enemy in the world that comes against us. And it could be against our minds, temptation, sickness, reminders of our past and our faults, bringing guilt and shame, bad thoughts, fear. And in those moments, what do? Well, the first thing I do is I focus my eyes on God, and I worship him, and I seek him out. There's a story in the Bible about David. David was a worshiper. He wrote many of the Psalms, and he was a lover of God. Now, King Saul had a problem with the tormenting spirit, and let's read about it. It's in 1 Samuel 16. It says, a distressing spirit was troubling Saul. But the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and a distressing spirit from the Lord troubled him. And Saul's servants said to him, surely a distressing spirit from God is troubling you. Let our master now command your servants who are before you to seek out a man who is a skillful player on the harp. And it shall be that he will play it with his hand when the distressing spirit from God is upon you, and you shall be made well. Now they looked around and heard that David was the guy. And in verse 22 it says, then Saul sent to Jesse, saying, please let David stand before me, for he has found favor in my sight. And so it was, whenever the Spirit from God was upon Saul, that David would take a harp and play it with his hand. Then Saul would become refreshed and well, and the distressing spirit would depart from him. Now David would play for Saul, and Saul would receive deliverance from the oppressor. My question is, why didn't Saul take it upon himself to also worship? You know, we have a responsibility for our own salvation, and we pray for one another when we have our need. And when we receive that, we learn from it, and then we act it out in our own lives. I'm also going to read Psalms 34 to you. You know, the word is full of expressing joy and adoration and clapping our hands and worshiping God. And Psalms has so many of our songs are written from the Psalms. Psalm 34 talks about blessing the Lord at all times. So I want to encourage you to worship God today. Worship him through your house. If you're having any issues with your kids or your spouse or your roommate, go through the house and worship God, and let the light of God enter in your room. Let the angels come into agreement and drive out darkness in your household. Psalm 34 says, I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make its boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear of it and be glad. Oh, magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. I sought the Lord, and he heard me and delivered me from all my fears. And they looked to him and were radiant, and their faces were not ashamed. This poor man cried out, and the Lord heard him and saved him out of all of his troubles. The angel of the Lord encamps all around those who fear him. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who trusts in him. So saints, worship the Lord. There's even a song that sings these scriptures out. Text me if you want to encourage me with a song that was written from this Psalm 34. I want to encourage you, be blessed, worship God. He is worthy to be praised. He will answer you. He will deliver you. He will deliver your family. He will set the captives free. And you can find rest for your soul in the presence of God. And one of the easiest way to enter into his presence is not only through prayer, but through worship. I love you guys. Be blessed. And I am going to go worship God.